Folks, welcome back to Timber1. And at the end of the last video, if you watched all the way through, you will have caught an unintentional cliffhanger. The flooding, or the overspill, I guess, from this caused, and I kind of highlighted it in the edit because I spotted it afterwards, this power shaft to flood through here, which caused this to flood, which caused this tunnel to flood, which caused this to flood, which ultimately caused this to flood, which means we have some unwell beavers. I spotted this after I'd finished recording. What I did is I have jumped into the district centre and migrated all the beavers back to the main district because their housing's flooded down here. And that's going to minimize the amount of contaminated beavers we're going to get. But we are going to get a fair few. So I think it would be sensible to up the number of pods that we've got. And probably makes sense to copy this guy. This one is set up so that when we've got more than 5 contaminated beavers, it switches on, which we're going to have. So yeah, I think we just grab this guy. I feel like we probably need a power connection there because I'm not sure, otherwise the power will connect. And we'll just bung those in, and then maybe do and we put a few more across to the other side as well. That's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Is that going to be enough? I don't know. I'm not sure if they being the beavers will jump in and out once they're contaminated, or whether they just sit in the contamination pod the whole time. Does it matter? Not really. We don't need them. Brutal answer. We'll be kind of fine. So there are a couple of ways we can fix this. One was one of your suggestions, which is we have the throttling valves. So we can limit the flow. At the moment I've got it turned off. There are other ways we can address some aspects of this. So the other thing we could do is we could change these to be fill level valves. But I kind of don't like that idea. I think using the throttling valves makes sense. The other thing we can do over here is I have a new mod installed. I have a few new mods installed. The first one is, let me get the name. Go into mods. We'll look at both of them. Watertight utilities, and have water purification installed. So watertight utilities gives us, I think, 3 blocks. There's the watertight passage, the watertight tubeway, and the watertight power shaft. And that's what we're going to use here. So we're going to delete these. It should be fine. A bit of a belt and braces approach. We're going to put some watertight power shafts there. That should seal that up. Step 1. Step 2 will be to make use of these throttling valves. What do we need to set them to? That's a good question. I guess for now we could go 1 meter per second. And open both of these back up and see if that's okay. We could do some automation and have it set up. If the depth of this gets too high, the throttle is limited, and that's what I've got going on in the main area. And that would be relatively easy to do, I think. So maybe we add that as a security layer. So I guess we could do that, and depth sensor there, and get that in as well. So I'm going to try and get this sorted, and then we will worry about going back, clearing out the contamination. You have nothing to do with your hands, and yes, I did. The whole decimated thing. So I had the definition in my head, just communicated it really badly. And that's kind of often the side effect of my slightly jumbled brain. So thank you for those of you that reminded me what it actually was. Was what I meant to try and communicate really badly. Yeah. Sometimes I don't get the jumbled facts out of my head in quite the way that I meant. But it was nice that a bunch of you knew what I was trying to say. So, yeah. What do we want to limit this to? Probably about there. Because that's then below the level of anything. And that's the off state. So in the off, so we're going to automate this off of there. So if it's in the on state, we want to limit the flow to, I mean, what we're at now seems quite stable. And then in the off state, we can ramp it up. Let's go with that. And then let's apply that to those and see what that does for us. There's going to be some trial and error there, most definitely. But we'll leave that for a bit. I had the game paused for a bit, and while it was paused, I went through and set up most of these to be built, so we can get that done in the background. So the next thing that we need to do is try and sort this mess out. And I think what we do is we come in here. Because this is the lowest point, and we're going to need to get rid of the bad water from here as well. Now, we could just wait for evaporation. But it's quite deep. It's over 3 meters deep. So I think what we do is, I guess it's over 3 meters relative to that. And that's sitting in a hole. So it's not as deep, but we do need to pump most of that out. So if I were to put in, we're going to essentially put in a bunch of bad water pumps. So we're going to put you there. There. Make sure you're on a bot. What I'm not sure of, but we're going to address, at least temporarily, is storage. Very temporarily, because this is not a particularly nice location for it. Bad water supply. Bad water supply. And then over in the main area, so I build them there, we can then back it onto there. Yeah. Build a whole lot of bad water storage. As path. under automation, we're going to turn off the automation on those. I guess we probably put in a few more pumps in here to get the bulk of this out. So let's do, I guess if I do it there, there's already a ladder there. Yeah. Do that. Do that. Bad water pump. You. Guess what we could do, because then we can always place the dirt afterwards. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, which I could be, but I think if I put a hole here, the water will, when we get most of the water out, it will flow into the deeper part. Now it's not the deepest part because we have that there, but I think it will help. So we're going to go with that. See if we can help drain that out. So that's that. Right. And I'm kind of hoping that equally these will be being built from the main district as well. So we still have a little bit of a tree problem, but we're catching up. We're catching up. And now my thought was, how are we looking over here? We're pretty good. So we can probably knock that up to, let's go 1.5. Copy, bosh, bosh. Keep an eye on this. And hopefully all of this will dry out fairly nicely. So the other mod that we have installed is the water purification mod, which is a mod that's been submitted to the mod contest. And we have an amount of bad water that we're not making use of. And I thought that mod would be quite handy for trying to make use of that. Because we have, well, this entire bad water discharge we're not using. We have the one over here that we capped and we're not using. I'm not so worried about the runoff from this, to be completely honest. So what, and we have this one. We could direct this into here and have it all flow this way. And what I'm thinking is that we do some fairly large scale terraforming. So with this mod, you need, so there's roughly 2 cubic meters per second of bad water flow in. It partly decontaminates, so you get mixed water out. You can then use the deep mechanical pumps to extract the clean water. So it's not as cheaty as some of the other options I've used, because it does filtration, not conversion. And now it is slightly cheaty because bad water is not a mix of clean water and contaminated water. It is a separate liquid that is purely contaminated. I think people sometimes get that confused and think they can pump good water out of 100% bad water. You cannot. You can pump it out of mixed water. And what this does is, this mod essentially lets you create that mixed water. Now, what we could do is put it up here. And I guess what we should do is at least check. And we've got another source up here which we can add in. So we don't need to worry too much about the flow rate. But I am kind of curious what the flow is going this way. So we can measure that. I guess if we're going to measure that, we need to measure all 3. So actually what I need to do is get rid of that as the drought ends and put them there. So that's that going on. This is still looking pretty good, and we are pretty comfortable with our power grid. Awesome. Happy with that. Looks like we've resolved the flooding issue pretty quickly, so we just need, and we didn't need to worry about that. Excellent. All right, let's get rid of you. Be gone. Get rid of you. So we just need to pump the bad water out of this, which is still at 70 odd %. It's not going to be a very inviting swimming pool, so we're going to let them do that before we bring the beavers back. You can go. You can be in. No, we'll leave you as a supply. Says as he clicks empty. And let's have a look over here. So they're still building a bunch of those. So let's go to our new project. Yes, so I could go and deprioritize a bunch of the building projects. I know I could do that, but we're not going to. Trying to think of how I want to do this. There's a couple of approaches we could use. Not used this mod at all before. So I'm just looking at it. We need, I think, water flow to go through that 2x2 bit or 2 by whatever bit there. There's an entrance there, and it needs power. So, it is an interesting build. I'm just going to quickly check. Right. So what we need, I was kind of right. So we need water to flow through the that 2x4 channel way, and so you kind of need a it almost does feel like putting it in here might be a good idea. And then if we do end up making use of this one, having a specific feed out of here, so it's being pre-purified. So we've got 0.8. I'm guessing they're all the same. So what's that? It's 2.4. So that's about right, actually. So we could adjust this to be okay. Yeah, so I think what we could do, let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. No, I keep looking at this. I've not used it before. I think if I blasted out, could you put it in there? If I put it there, actually a 1 by. So I just need to blast out some access there. We need power. And probably we want to... I've got the main power grid there. So if I did it the other way around... Yeah, right. So we are going to not do what I said originally. Do that. Let's take that out. Put it there. Where's the entrance? I can flip it. Yeah. That works. I'm not sure we have to put power in. Let's just try it and see. And then over here, thinking we get rid of the rest of these. Let this to be emptied. Give them access. We should put a light on before I start doing this. It's kind of dark in here. Bring path up here as well. That deleted, and we're going to block off the back here. Like that. Then through here. Not like that though. Yeah. Put you up through there. Should have rotated those. Oh. Probably want to delete those as well. Those. Right, let's go back over here. Then you. You can't believe you forgot which button it was. Gonna need that. Not sure this is going to work the way I think it is. Why is that red? Why is that red? I want to unlock it. Solid. Other buildings can water dependent. Requires access to water. Requires haulers. Maybe we need that one to be done. While we're at it, let's grab you. And we'll apply that to there. Because we've got this set up now, I think. So that it can store some amount of water. Guess the problem will be if it overflows that. We'll see. Anyway, that's a future me problem. You do this. Okay, I'm confused. Requires access to water. Why is it red? Solid. Requires haulers. Unless it has to be built on of something. So I think I understand better having looked at it. So what happens is the clean water flows through, the bad water flows through, and then our processed water comes out by the bit next to the door. So it's a bit more complex than I thought. So we get an extra water stream with the processed water. So, I mean, I could just mix it back in. Because we end up with the same amount of clean water in the thing to then grab later on. But essentially what I think I need to do is I'm not sure if it's going to need to be 1 deep or 2 deep. And we could have it as a separate water system. Bear with me a little bit, folks. Because I'm learning. Learn along with me. This is why normally I would test mods separately, but so we'll let them place that. We'll come back over here. So this is going in. So we'll demolish. Let's demolish. And what we might want to do is push bad water one way and clean water the other way, and cleaned. Maybe we run the cleaned water along here. Join them together. So at the moment, this is just experimentation. We can always replace the water, clean water. Okay, so I'm now wondering if we need underneath that to be open. Get to both of those. So kind of what I'm hoping is that once I place this, that's going to separate this area out. You can't see where I'm pointing, the area where the exit and the entrance for the beavers is. I did that. Yeah, okay, that's it. So that. So I do think probably I want to place it this way around. Over here. Maybe bring that under a lot. Yeah, right, okay. So undo all of that. You should have done that. You can all go back. Let's do that. Do that first, and then we'll do a bit more. Right. How are we doing? So we've got 3 contaminated beavers so far. Have we cured them, or did they all die? I wasn't paying attention. Got 130 odd unemployed beavers, so guess we start sending them back. Let's have a quick look under here. Yep, we got this pumped out, so go. You can go. You can go. You go. You go. You go. We then want a dump. Okay, that makes sense. If signal signals signal falls less than 2.5, save, duplicate, invert, script 2.7. Save. Come on, mouse, do you think? Save and close. You're a bot. Awesome. We can then do We have 134 unemployed beavers, so great population. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Catch up game. Come on, you can do it. We should have many happier beavers now. Just to give them a bit of a boost for giving them a bad time, we'll hit the button. Do that. That ends the game. Well, it doesn't, but you know what I mean. Right. Down here. So the other thing I did is the brilliant suggestion that one of you gave me to... What have we been playing? Yeah. Was to delete all of the ladders and platforms and put a path in so that they could pick all of the rubble up, which they have done. And currently we have 19 logs. Brilliant. So maybe before we worry about building the last few of these, in fact, they're still working on a few of them, so we'll leave them to it. Right, back over here. And this fun little distraction. You for... I know you said it. Right, so we do that guy, and then the path is there. So we blast you out, and we blast down a couple more. You go. You. And let's go you down 1. And you down 2. And see what that gets us. I guess in terms of power, it would probably not be an awful idea. But now it's going to look awful. And if that offends you, well, just don't look, okay? Temporarily, we are going to jankifyly, it's a technical term, by the way, start joining the power up this way. Bosh, bosh. In you go. And I'm kind of curious what that's going to do for us. I think it might cause some backup issues, but we'll see. We've got protections in place. So we might just need to make a bit of an overflow, but we'll see. We'll see. We need to bring power over, so we'll do that. But it's not pretty today, folks. It's about function. Okay. Yeah, we need to rely on that all evaporating. And then we need to get power in. Can we bring power in the top of it? We can. We can. Good job, Mr. Mod Creator. We are going to pause that for now. It does appear that it can get everything going through it. So that's cool. Right. Over here. What do we want here? Escaping. Wait. Oily. Do that. So if I'm going to put that in there, and we'll leave a little bit of space. Come in with explosives, and at the very least blast all of that out. That as well. Power, but we've got power there, so I think we're okay. Cool. These are going up, which is good. Nice and full of water. This is behaving nicely and is generating oodles of power. All very good. Are we looking down here? Pretty good. So I think we can do some more path deletion. That. Go as well. So we'll let them pick those bits up. I basically want to try and clear up all of the paths down here so we can delete this set of ladders. Stairs. Yeah. So explosions, water filter. So we then need that was the entrance. I'll find it out by ladder. I try and put a path in. Does it all connect up? Because if not, it's there. What I don't know is what percentage the water is that comes out. In theory, I guess you could then feed it into another one, and another one, and another one. That is currently not my intent. Unless we need to. At the moment, I'm just seeing this as a way of getting more clean water to feed into the water system. I mean, we could with this one just dump it up into here now if we filtered it. And I guess the same with this. All ends up in the same system, doesn't it? Ultimately. That is an option. We make like a holding pen. Pump the bad water out and pump the good water the other way. Like that idea. So I just want to remind myself that so the path is the other side. So if I go check this one, yeah, so the path is actually under here. Right, so there's your problem. so what we need to do is... you are not an entrance, are you? No, no you're not. Yeah. A path on the platform. So do that. And then do that. And that'll get us in. Over here. That. And what I'm thinking is we essentially make a holding tank. And we could feed the bad water back in this side, but I don't think we'll need to. I'm kind of thinking the flow will be fast enough. This is going to be like a strength 3 source, so it might be too strong. I don't know what happens if you feed too much in, but anyway. We'll deal with that when we get to it, I guess. Path. Path. Piece of path. And that should be that hooked in, I think. But although we built it second, I'm kind of focusing on this one. So we need to get power to it. That is our nearest power. Right. So what I'm thinking is we do something like, not something like, we do exactly that. That. That gets us a power connection. Power. We got up there. I want to go in there. Interesting. Okay. Oh no, now you've connected. You? No? Okay. But you will connect there. Fair enough. Good job. Right, anyway. Bot's gonna die, bot's gonna die, bot's gonna die, bot has died. Not, wow. Wow. Right. Mini bridge? No, we won't do mini bridge because we want to make a harsher turn. That. You. Piece of path. Pieces of path. Reese's pieces of path. Awesome. Do that. And yes, as I said, today's construction is ugly. I do not care. Then what I think we're going to do is that. That. We're going to need a tunnel piece just... yeah, and we're going to end up replacing that, so we're going to want to delete that. We're going to need some path all the way down here, so we can build all of this. Yes, we're going to need some path down here. Okay. What are we going to do with this one? And we could make use of the same principles. I think we'll test it over here first, rather than getting a load of stuff built. So that, and we're going to do that. Let's go check on this stuff. Open now. Let's work on removing more pathage. We can recover some junk. So what we should do is focus on... Yes, that's okay. We'll let them recover those. No, we've got to sort that out as well. So but we can now delete. Oh. 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 Yeah. I only built half of this one because that's all I had access to at the time. But then it was the style of the day to just build half a project. No, it was all I could reach. I'll put that in. Awesome. Delete the rest of that. Retreat to there. Get that built. Good stuff. So all of that. Underground stuff to do. I can see there, but we'll pick that up and we'll come back to that. So it's you going to become a throttling valve, purely, hopefully in this case, to act as a one-way valve. If not, remind me that it needs to be throttled. Just don't want water to go back into this system this way. You can be detonated. Deep mechanical pump. That way you will be set to be bad water. You can take power. Here. Ultimately run it into there once we don't need the path. Oh, can't build that. We're still building that as well. In fact, that's just been connected. Awesome. Power. You connect that up. That's connected, so we can detonate that. That in, so we can now delete those. That through there. Should be connected. connected once it's all hooked up. Almost there. Almost there. So that is set to be bad water. So why aren't you turning? There's one connection missing here. One log, folks. One log. So that's turning. So that's got power. That's got power. That's all connected up. So what we need to do now is remove this path so we can move it. That in. That there. I don't know if this is going to be enough pumping. If it's not, we will adjust it next time because I am about done for this evening. We then need path around here to be bigger than that. That up, and that should let them build all of that. Gain access to that. I open that now. Hoping this will sort itself out. Yep. Cool. That should get reconnected in a bit. I'm curious. So we will allow the measurement of. I guess the other thing that we probably want is if we put a depth sensor there. Less than that, we can automate this so that if it gets full, it closes. That will go out that way. So maybe we want a little bit of an overflow channel. Close that for a second. Yeah, I think they can. So take that out. I can't automate you off normal stuff, okay? Signal. Add water pond 1. If that is greater than 1, disable flow, save, duplicate, invert, script. Let's say if it's less than 1.5, save and close. Just let it flow, I guess. Why does it think that that is... because that needs to be built. That's why. We're going to do that. And I'm then going to put in a floodgate there. 0.6 is probably okay. Hopefully this is going... We need extract and dirt over here. So... storage. Those in. Make extract set to obtain. Dirt set to obtain. We'll do some logic on that at some point. Fire. Most of it going that way. It's not a problem if it goes that way, I don't think. Most of it going through this. That prioritized by haulers. Did. Are going to just be water. If here, take that piece out just in case the extra flow once this kicks in causes us issues. I don't think it will, but so this is 90% contaminated. So it's not a lot of clean water that we get. Not a lot. Yes, it's some, you know? And it's a constant point something. And I guess if I deal with this overflow better, which I can do by opening that up a bit. Not sure why it's overflowing like that. Kind of weird. It's outputting a decent amount, and the contamination's getting lower. So, I guess it's when this thing floods that it causes issues. Yeah, it's when it's flooding that it's causing problems. So we want to be letting more water out that way. Some weird sloshing effects. That's fine. Maybe. Still flooding. Wonder if it would help if we tidied up the outside of it. I was going to do it off camera, but I know most of you prefer to see what I get up to, so what I'm thinking is that we that flow out for a start. Drop this so that there's somewhere for the stuff coming out to go. Don't know if that's going to help or not. But I think we try and get this one working better before we worry about the other one. Then I am going to call it a day because I have no idea how long I've been going for. I'm going to have a look because it feels like a long time, but it might not be. Yeah, we're at just over an hour, so. I'll stick this in. It's quite handy that there's extract nearby. That allows us to... I didn't really need to blast that out first, to be honest. No, I didn't, did I? No, we're going to do that, in fact. That was a waste of time. Oh well. So what I want to do is come through here. Bunch of double explosives. And then single explosives in there. I think I can reach all of those. Demolish that. Yes, we path down there as well. Okay, that's all in, so let's explode it and try again. The penultimate cover for the geothermal stations is going in as well, so that's cool. Do this. So that was the disadvantage of what I did. But anyway, I think we can now try again. So let's do the automation. Hoping now it won't flood because the output is dropping away quicker. Hoping. And there's space for this to come out as well, so that solves it. I think the other one will work okay as well. So I think that means we can maybe start to close this up. Nope. That's it. It caused the issue again. So that's causing issues as well. So it's also the depth of this. So this getting to 0.8-ish is a problem. So we need to adjust this. So this was possibly the problem all along. We want to come in. Oh, press the right button. Yeah, Egypt. Script 0.8. Save. Script 5. Save. Save and close. I think that was the issue, that the output of this was getting blocked up. Not that the, yeah, I think that was the problem all along. So potentially we need more ability to pump out. Because this can process more than we can handle. But folks, that's going to be it for today. But we need to bear that in mind when we're dealing with this one. So I think maybe here we divert the exit this way, and the processed water we send this way, and we put a bunch of clean water pickup pumps down here, is my thought. But we should also be at a point next time to close up the last one of these. There's this one. I'm going to come in here and make use of the tight tunnel to close this up. And we can maybe start thinking about flooding this guy. We've not got the science to double a water source yet, which is why I'm looking at doing this to try and generate more clean water. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is that we flow the processed water this way, because at the same time we maybe get over here then and grab the water from these quite weak aquifers, dump that into this brackish water as well, and grab that down here. Adjust this so it can store and transfer more. That's my thought. Let me know what you guys think, as always, because it's rare that I don't make mistakes, but that's why you're here. Well, it's not. It's partly, isn't it? It's partly. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think. I think it's quite a cool mod. Now, having said recently in a comment that I am not using some mods because I don't want to add mods in that might break, I've added in two that potentially could break. So, you know, such is life, I guess. Anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you all next time.